someplace. Let's check all the tubes. Let's see what all the tubes are saying. Things should have done something by now. Content. Go lives. All right. Looks like I'm live. Where are we at here? Bob Pita, good morning, my friend. How's my sound? Everybody give me a sound check, 5x5. Type 1 in the chat if I am good. Looks like people are popping in. Now, hopefully this works out well today. I've got I'm using different live streaming software today, and hopefully things will go well. Things will go well. Good morning, Star. Hey, Star from Canada. Logo. If you guys did not know, I am multicasting today. This is going out on the YouTubes. This is going out on the Rumbles. And this is going actually out on X, which should be interesting. I keep pushing buttons that do absolutely nothing for me. So I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like on X. Where's my notifications? Profile. Let's see if there we go. I'm actually on X right now with 0 viewers on X, but that is a-okay. Let me see, what's the sound like? All right, looks good. Looks good. So the YouTubes are working, and now to just check the Rumbles. I do not know if the Twitters will let me see here. I do not know if the Twitters will allow the chat to come through. Currently, only the there it is. There we go. So I've got that. Looks like Tina is also over there on the X side or the Rumble side. I appreciate you over there. So let's see. Is the name same on Rumble and X? Yes, it is. I think on X I am that local prepper local. I think. Hold on, let me check here. Yeah, prepper local because I couldn't get it the other way around. And then on Rumble. I actually have 2 channels on Rumble. So fun facts, guys. I've been on Rumble for about a year now, and I always move videos over there for people to watch them. And I never had a Rumble channel per se. And for some reason, my camera is now like way over to the side, so it puts me way over to the side. So I'm gonna pick a spot in the middle or something. But yeah, so if you pop in and you see my Rumble channel, it says I have 699 followers. The actual channel itself only has like 15 followers, which is hilarious. I don't know why. All right, so on the Rumble side, Tina, good morning. Jeff, no thanks. Good morning to you as well. Who else? Who we got over here on the YouTube side? Bob was first. Catatube was number 2. We got logos in here. Beecher, Dan, Janice, Star. Where are we at here? Tina. Jeff Allen, Jordan's here. All right, you guys are all over the place. Rumble is working now. Yes. So I think the problem that I was having, guys, was the streaming software that I was using. I don't know. It seems like every time I figure it out, I try to do it again, and bloop, it all dies. I don't know what to do at this point other than to just try to carry on. What's up, Tefel? Good morning, my friend. If you were following over from the Patreon, had to take the young, what's up, Hicktown Honey, the young girlfriend's boy to school because she is sick. Hopefully my voice won't completely die out. Things that are going on today in the news. If you guys didn't know about this, let's see. They're gonna bring Director Ray back up there to testify today. It's 10 a.m. That's always interesting. They normally beat the crap out of that guy. That's always fun to watch. There's also some IRS whistleblowers that are supposed to be talking at either 10:15 or 10:30. That was healthy. Nasty, but necessary. That'll be happening today. Hopefully I will catch some of that today. Let's see here. I think that's really about it. The world, it's Tuesday, so the world's still recovering from Bad News Friday. Do me a favor, guys, if you can, in the chats, type the number 1 if you are ready to go. And why? Because that raises my chat numbers. My chat. I can't remember the actual name of it. Basically says, hey, people are talking about this. And also, it helps the algorithm to realize that we are still here and it's easy. I subbed on X. Thank you, Logo. Appreciate that. It also helps to what was the third one? Oh, you can get to support the channel without actually like giving money or anything like that. A simple one will do. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Okay, while you guys are getting carpal tunnel, typing the number 1. I'm going to go ahead and start off with this. So if you guys weren't paying attention yesterday, explosion, massive explosion, obliterated a house. I'm going to read the actual press release. Don't worry about it, dog and ball. You are good. You are good. So, Arlington, Virginia, a massive explosion in a duplex where police were investigating reports of shots fired shook a Washington, D.C. suburb Monday and destroyed the home. That is for sure. All officers escaped. I just noticed you guys can't see my face when I look down because I'm in this new place. I would normally like read it off the screen, but I printed it out because I'm supposed to be someplace this morning and I'm not. Where are we at here? All officers escaped serious injury, but it was unclear what happened to the suspect who was inside the home, and it was leveled by the explosion, Arlington County, Virginia police spokesman Ashley Savage said. Officers went to the home at about 4:15 p.m. after receiving reports of shots fired. They later determined the shots came from a flare gun. Savage said, while police investigated, they obtained a search warrant for the home. When the police later attempted to execute the warrant, the suspect fired several rounds inside the home, and the explosion occurred just before 8:30 p.m., shooting flames and debris into the air, police said. Okay, so there was actually a live on X that lasted for several hours. I listened to it this morning, covered a few of the details. And the running thing here is, guys, the guy's just freaking crazy. This is just another issue of mental instability. He was paranoid. He had filed some issues against the government. He had written several congressmen. His neighbors were spies. I mean, this all comes down to just some crazy dude. All right. I've heard everything this morning short of the house got hit by a Hellfire missile. That's how stupid the yappage was going. Yes, it could be this, it could be that. You know, it is. It's crazy. You know. I say, where we got here? I got actually a special little post here on Rumble. A Baron Halt. Hopefully, I'm saying that right, bro. My friend's daughter lives on that street there. She said the guy had posted on some social media he wanted to harm his neighbors. Yeah, he was very social. And thank you, Baron Holt. I don't recognize you. Please remember to subscribe because I will be doing more live streams on this. She's telling me about it. It's just as you started talking. I gotcha. But listen, I've watched the video of the explosion. All right. Now listen, we can play this little tinfoil hat game. Maybe I'll break out the tinfoil hat one day again. We can play the tinfoil hat game about what if this and I thought that and but listen, the guy has a track record. He's all over social media. It's in China. I mean, this they literally pulled out every hat trick you can think of to try to make this into something more than it is. Okay. There's only really one of two things that actually happened. And the first one is actually a little bit less ridiculous. The first one is that he was cooking some meth in his house and he set it off and kablooey, and now he's gone. Okay. I'm sure they'll find body parts at some point. Okay. The second one is actually more realistic. He had a psychological instability. There's only one article that actually talks about the SWAT team that showed up to execute the warrant. Guys, They're trying to brush this under. There's nothing to see here. There's literally nothing to see here. Some crazy guy had an agenda, and he blew himself up. He filled his house full of gas, and then they said they heard a couple of shots inside. He probably watched one too many movies and thought that this, that, or the other thing would set off the gas. And it took a couple of times. There were 2 explosions. There was one on the first floor, and there was one on the second floor, which is it was a sympathetic detonation, and that means that one detonation feeds off of the other. So the one on the first floor where he was likely at was the one that set the whole thing off. Ooh, what's on the first floor of a kitchen? I don't know. All of our heating and cooling instruments, and maybe gas stoves and ovens and things like that. You know, it only takes about half an hour to fill an entire house full of gas or natural gas, whatever you want to call it. And he blew himself up. The detonation, looking at it, it is not what you could call a kinetic detonation. If you know anything about explosives or an actual explosion, that it is not combustibly fueled. It has a certain way that it looks, and it has a certain set of physics that it follows. Okay. He blew his house up. He blew himself up. The guy's dead. They'll find his body parts later. It'll probably take them about a day, and it'll be like confirmed we found body parts. You know, if you saw the explosion, that's not an explosion that people actually survive. I'm very surprised that there weren't more officers injured. So let's go ahead and take that one and throw that one in the trash pile for now, and realize that not everything is the government trying to. There are no drones circling your house. We'll leave it at that. All right. Do me a favor. Type a number 2 in the chat if you agree. Type number 3 if you disagree. There are no other numbers. While you're doing that, I'm going to start up the next article. Man, all that yapping and all this, like, the stuff building up in my lungs, it's really a pain in the ass to read, but yeah. Okay, so the next one I got for you, this is kind of old news, but it's being brought back into the news cycle because, hey, don't be slackers on Rumble. I need numbers over there too, guys. Let's see here. The January 6th committee tapes have disappeared, says House Republican. And I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to read because I don't really have a lot of light over here. Maybe if I hold on a second, let me do something with this. Maybe see if I can't make this light over here work. No, not that. And then swipe that down and then turn on more. Come on now. Flashlight. Where's the damn flashlight at on this thing? There it is, flashlight. And then I'm going to face you down so I can. Oh yeah, that. Oh, that did it. That's gonna solve my problems right there, guys. Okay, so what we got here? Representative Barry Loudermilk of Georgia, who chairs the House Administration Oversight Subcommittee that is currently investigating security lapses connected to the Capitol riot and potential ramifications of the upcoming criminal trials, is questioning the disappearance of the video evidence. Quotes, all of the videotapes of all depositions are gone. Just the news. No noise, television shows, Thursday nights. We found out about this early in the investigation when I received a call from someone who was looking for some information of one of the videotapes, and we started searching, and we had none, Loudermilk explains. I wrote a letter to Benny Thompson asking for them, and he confirmed that they did not preserve those tapes. He didn't feel that they had to. So let's see. They just completely ignored the rules of chain of custody, the requirement for investigations to maintain these documents. What'd they do with them, guys? Where'd they go? I'm going to make this really easy. I'm going to take this 3-page article, and I'm going to get it back down here. And here's why they disappeared, guys. Here's why they're nowhere to be found. Where are we at here? Oh, where is it at? Oh, there it is right there. A court recently denied President Trump's legal team's request for specific material from January 6th committee. District of Columbia Judge Tanya Chakatan turned down the former president, saying his requests were easily a fishing expedition. The defendant has not met his burdens with respect to his proposed Rule 17 subpoenas. He has not sufficiently justified his request for either the missing materials themselves or the other 5 categories of documents related to him. So basically, if there's no witnesses, if there's nothing to subpoena, guys, it can't be subpoenaed. And who wants it right now? Well, Mr. Trump wants it because it's part of his defense, and they're saying that it doesn't exist. So there's nothing to subpoena. This is going to turn into something more, guys. This is going to turn into something a little bit bigger. We're going to keep an eye on this, and we're going to keep an eye on it because when it does turn, it's going to be exactly like the stuff that we were talking about last night during the Patreon only live stream that I did push out on Rumble to everybody else who wanted to see it, because I felt that information was really important. This is going to go right to our government completely doing whatever the hell it wants to do. These people that are in power are exercising their level of corruption. That's what they're doing. So, hey, Grumpy, good to see you, bro. Incompetence or malice, each a good reason to remove them. Sadly, the voters won't. Very true. Very true. Hey, what's up, Goatman? Good to see you, bro. These things are going to be happening more and more and more, whether you like it or not. It's like, it's all that term about the swamp. It's every string you pull, something new is going to happen. Something unexpected, something that isn't supposed to be happening is going to be found, because, man, my head's like really off today. Is going to be found because you're not supposed to be finding these things. There was, I don't know if I've got it in here or not. Let's see here if I've got it. I ran affiliate hacker programs, Ukrainian, this, that, and the other thing. I can't believe I just said that word. No, I don't. I didn't print it out because I didn't think it was relevant. But here's the thing. It is now. So they just found this guy. All right. He was been a member of the Department of State for 30 years. And they just found out this guy has been spying for the Cubans for 30 years. A member of the Department of State. Multiple postings: Argentina, Nicaragua, El Salvador. Yeah, the guy's been all over South America, working within these realms as a double agent for Cuba. And he's 71 years old. So it's been going on forever. He's probably just sitting there going, well, I got away with it. But here's the thing. Here's how dirty the government is, guys. They probably knew the whole damn time, and they were using him. And so now they're done with him, or maybe he's about to do something stupid and they don't like it, and one government turned him over to the other, or he has been outed by somebody who just found out that he was a spy. It's a one string after the other, man. One string after the other. The government is just plain dirty. Hey, Blaine, good to see you, bro. I'm Angela Harkins, so hi. Gotcha, Angela. All right, so with that said, let's go and move on to the next one. This one hits a little bit more closer to our prepper hearts. So much, I'm killing so many trees today, guys. It's crazy. According to the U.S. and Israel officials, a number of United States organizations were compromised by Iranian-affiliated hackers who targeted an Israeli-made industrial control device. So if you guys didn't know what an industrial control device is, it's normally something like deals with water pressure. And as you know, last week, I think it was like back in November, around the 25th, I think, we had that little thing go off there in Aquila. They received a word from the federal officials who said that they had the same group also compromised an aquarium and 4 other utilities after discovering that it had been hacked on November 25th. Although there's no proof that Iran was involved in the October 7th attack on Israel by Hamas that prompted the ongoing Gaza conflict, cybersecurity experts predict that states or state-sponsored Iranian hackers and pro-Palestinian hacktivists will increase their cyber attacks against Israel and its allies in the wake of the strike. The multi-agency advisory clarified what CISA had not mentioned when it verified the hack in Pennsylvania on last Wednesday, that other sections of the economy besides water and water treatment facilities also use these Unitronics version series programmable logic controllers, which are potentially vulnerable. So it's like a win-win for the bad guys right now. So this company, Ultratronics, or did I say that right? Where is it at? Unitronics. They make these controllers, industrial controllers in Israel. So now the bad guys are like, well, we're going to target everything that's Israeli because they don't like that now. They got that thing going on over there in that place you can't talk about. And so it's kind of a win because then they find out that these things that they're targeting, they're vulnerable. And oh, by the way, they're all over the place in the United States and they just happen to be on our water supplies. Oh, no, not that. Oh, no, not that. Okay, let's see. According to the recommendation, these sectors include energy, food, and beverage manufacturing and healthcare. Oh, no. The apparatus controls temperature, pressure, and fluid flow, among other things. Workers at a distance station that control water pressure for 2 neighboring towns were encouraged by the Alapwaknik hack to temporarily stop pumping, which forced the operation to turn to manual operation. On the infected gadget, the hackers placed a digital calling card that declared all equipment manufactured in Israel to be a legal target. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient when you can put like a label on on something that says, hey, you're a target. You're a legal target. I mean, I don't know what laws they're writing, but it's a legal target now, damn it. Dan, my name on Rumble is Local Prepper. You can find me all one word or you can find it in 2 words. There are 2 of them. They're identical. One has 699 followers on it and the other has like 15 followers on it. It's the same damn thing. It's something I just discovered. I probably should have got like a cough drop before we started this, but that's okay. It was unknown according to the multi-agency advance. This is not important. Here's what's important, guys. Here's, as usual, I've highlighted the good stuff for you. There's no sense in going that deep on everything. 3 lawmakers from Pennsylvania wrote to the U.S. Justice Department requesting an investigation into the Aliquippa hack. That's the one where they were able to hack the water system. God, I hate this. They're able to hack the water system there in Pennsylvania. I love the response. Democrat senators Rob Casey, John Fetterman, and together with the U.S. Representative Chris Deluzzo, stated that citizens need to know that, quote, nation-state adversaries and terrorist organizations cannot harm drinking water or other essential infrastructure. Isn't it? Don't you feel safer? Don't you feel better now? Knowing that they just can't do it. They can't, guys. They can't do it. Do me a favor. Type the number 3 in the chat if you think that it's bull. If you think that it's bull that they can't do it, because we all know they can't. So start typing number 3 right now. Let's see here. All right. So while you're doing that right there, White House warns Congress that inaction to aid to, and I'm going to say it if the video is going to get flagged, to Ukraine is a national security threat. In a letter to congressional leader on Monday, the Office of Management and Budget Director claimed the United States is, quote, out of money and nearly out of time to provide weapons and equipment to Ukraine. Quote, I want to be clear, without congressional action, by the end of the year, we will run out of resources to procure more weapons and equipment for Ukraine and to provide equipment for U.S. military stocks, Young wrote. There's no magical pot of funding available to meet this moment. Additionally, she also warned that not giving aid to Ukraine would kneecap Ukraine on the battlefield, not only putting at risk the gains Ukraine has made, but increasing the likelihood of Russian military victories. Quote, already our packages of security assistance have become smaller and the deliveries of aid have become more limited. If our assistance stops, it will cause significant issues for Ukraine. While our allies around the world have stepped up to do more, U.S. support is critical and cannot be replicated by others. I must stress that helping Ukraine defend itself and secure its future as a sovereign, domestic, independent, and prosperous nation advances on our nation's security interests, she wrote. It prevents larger conflict in the region that could involve NATO and put U.S. forces in harm's way and deters future aggression, making us safer. As President Biden said, and these are still in quotes, as President Biden said, when dictators do not pay a price for their aggression, they will cause more chaos and death and destruction. They just keep on going. And the cost and the threats is to America and to the world will keep rising, she said. The path that Congress chooses will reverberate for many years to come. Well, guys, they want more money. Let's see here. Widow Liquor says, our government is a national security threat, aiding criminals when they cross the border. Absolutely 100% true. Jordan says, having Russia exhausted resources on Ukraine keeps them from building up their resources and coming at us. True. Grumpy Acres says, they're laying the groundwork for direct U.S. involvement. That is a distinct possibility. Stupid talk to text, but put commas. Those damn commas. Those freaking commas are everywhere. They're everywhere. For those people on the Rumble side, do me a favor. Just the Rumble side. Put a 1 in the chat if you're even paying attention, because there is almost as many as you guys on the Rumble side as there are on the YouTube side. And the YouTube side is cranking it out. So get involved. Let's get with it. Let's go ahead and close this whole thing out here. Basically, the Republicans are still opposing all of this. So here's what their statement is. The Biden administration had failed to substantially address any of my conference's legislative concerns and the lack of clear strategy in Ukraine, a path to resolving the conflict, or a plan for adequately ensuring accountability for aid provided by American taxpayers. It's that easy. It's that easy. So here's the thing about us and Ukraine, guys. You know, we can say this is a proxy war all day long. That's absolutely true. It is a proxy war. Okay. But what we're missing here is that if we stop paying for Ukraine, it does not mean that Russia will attack America. That's not what it means. If you guys are paying attention, America is, and their agenda is keeping this war alive. We have made zero efforts to try and negotiate with the Russians on the behalf of the Ukrainians. We have made zero efforts to interdict anything that is actually happening between the Russians and the Ukrainians. All we're doing is feeding them bullets. That's all we're doing. Now, it's gotten so bad that NATO wants nothing to do with Ukraine. They keep pushing them off. Maybe later, guys. Maybe later. You've got Poland, you've got Hungary. They have completely changed their administrations, and they are trying to back away from the NATO solution. They'll never leave NATO, but the reality is that is what they want to happen right now. They are tired of playing this game where all we're doing is funneling money and weapons into this country so that this war can continue. If you guys didn't know this, there are already like giant anti-personnel / tank minefields that separate Russia from Ukraine. That's the truth. So if Russia really wanted to do something, they'd just put about 1,000 paratroopers in the air, drop them over Kiev, and yeah, this thing could be over in a heartbeat, like we all thought, like everybody thought it was going to be in the first place. But they're not doing that. So there's just this constant Cold War, hot war mentality dragging us into it. Seriously doubt it's ever going to happen, but it still is a possibility. Let's see. Yeah. Jordan says nobody wants to get into the middle of or join sides with two gang lords. Let's see here. Window Liquor says, I moved to YouTube and I'm no longer watching on Rumble. Well, we still got a handful. We still got 11 people watching on Rumble. So I have no complaints, guys. I have zero complaints on this. It looks like I've got 25 people watching on YouTube. So, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't know how many people are watching on Twitter. You know what? Let me look over there real quick. Over there on the X. I got 0 viewers on the X right now, but it's not a big deal. It's just a button I pushed, and it's not any real extra work. Let's see here. Russia doesn't want to win. They want Ukraine to surrender. Well, of course they do. Of course they do. You know, I mean, Russia would love Ukraine to be one of their vassal states. Yeah, that just really, I gotta do something about the bill of this hat. And that would just make things really, really nice and easy for everybody. But here's the thing. It's like early on, Russia supposedly actually had an agreement with the Ukrainians, and the people that they passed it through, they just ripped it up. It's very clear that there are powers at B that want this war to continue. They want it to continue for whatever reason. We could speculate and say to make the U.S. weak, which, yes, it is. It's going to make the U.S. weak. We could say that it's part of world domination. Yeah, sure, it could be. It could be. We could even go down the road of big bad Russia, you know. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and move on to the next subject. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee real quick. This coffee is really watery. It's McCafe crap. All right, so SCOTUS to weigh in on what income means, guys. So most of the people that are in our space believe that taxation is theft. Some believe it more than others. I'm one of those people that, hey, listen, the government does need money to function. They do need it. You know, they've got to pay for roads. They've got to do all the things that the good tax money is supposed to do. Now, where the rest of it goes, I couldn't tell you, and it is clearly a problem. But there's actually the Supreme Court is taking up a case that could affect all of that. And you guys actually are probably going to love this. In America, I'm not even going to write this. Supreme Court will hear arguments today on Moore versus U.S., one of the most important tax cases in recent history. The lawsuit, which could cost the U.S. trillions of dollars in revenue, invalidate big swaths of the current tax system, and doom the possibility of a billionaire tax, hinges on a couple suing the U.S. over $14,729. How did we get here? In 2018, due to changes in the tax law implemented the prior year, Charlie and Kathleen Moore paid nearly $15,000 as a one-time reparation tax on profits held overseas. Now, the Moores are suing the federal government, claiming that they didn't receive any profit from their investment and therefore can't be taxed. 2 lower courts have ruled against them. So they've lost already, but somehow the Supreme Court is taking this up, and that does not bode well for the government. Now the Supreme Court will decide the fate of the U.S. tax code as we know it based on what exactly counts as income, specifically whether or not income has to be realized. You guys have probably heard that term in the past, where it's future tax, your realized income, or received to be taxed under the 16th Amendment. Now, what does this mean for the tax code? Well, the Moors contend that the tax they paid was unconstitutional. A lot of longstanding business tax rules would get swept away if they win. In fact, the former Republican Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, who helped write the 2017 tax law being challenged, said that if Moores wins, it would effectively eliminate a third of the tax code. Experts worry that beyond upending the system and costing the U.S. tax dollars, a decision in favor of the Moors could also open the government to more litigation over the 2017 tax law, which the DOJ estimates would cost the U.S. $340 billion in tax revenue over the next decade. Yeah. Okay. So if you think that the Moors are gonna win, type 4 in the chat. If you think that the government's got it in on them and that there's no chance in hell they're gonna win this because it's the government can't lose, type me a 5. Type me a 5. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee and I'm gonna read the chats real quick here. Grumpy says, until 1913, the U.S. citizens kept their income. They still had roads, schools, and military, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's a logical, it's a logical and truthful argument, but the economic system was very, very different in 1913 than it is today. There was another one in here too. What do we got here? Window Liquor says, the war machine, America has been at war 225 years out of the 243 since 1776. That's around 9. It should be disturbing to our rule. Well, of course, dude, you've heard me say this in the past, and I stopped saying it because nobody gets it. We are Rome. Take what happened to the Roman Empire, template it right over the history of the United States. And while they were there for a couple, 2,000-3,000 years, and we've only been here for 200-something years, shrink that puppy down so it fits in the block. And you'll see we're in the 5th stage. And if you don't know what that is, you might want to look it up. All right, looks like everybody believes that the government is going to whitewash this entire case, which I think is likely to be the case. But here's the thing. The Supreme Court could have said, no, we agree with the lower courts, and that's it. So something caused the Supreme Court to go, there's something here, guys. Otherwise, they would not have touched it. Whether it's good enough to make these guys right, don't know. Don't know. What I will tell you is that they believe that there's something there, and they're going to look at it. So I guess we'll know in the future. Grumpy says, yeah, it was different. We didn't have income tax. Creation of the income tax created the modern system. Yeah, there's that's a 50-50 argument as well. The reality is that once we started getting people into our government that believed that the people needed to pay for everything, not the stuff we needed, not the stuff that was genuine, like defense, representation, everything. It became an issue. I'll see what you're saying, Grumpy, and I'll double it. There are, I think, 11 states that do not have state tax and state income tax, and they are functioning just fine. So if they can, the U.S. government can as well. Let's see. Let's see here. Major Ken. Last, of course you are, you slacker. Major Ken is giving me crap because I didn't give anybody a link, and he shows up last. We weren't funding Ukraine in 1913. I don't know where you're going with that, Beecher. All right, let's go here. Let's go with the next one. U.S. government charged a former. Oh, I did have it. I'll just say the title. U.S. government charged a former diplomat who served on the National Security Council in the 1990s with secretly serving as an agent of Cuba's government for more than 40 years. Cha-ching. All right, guys, let's see here. And the last thing I've got, and then we'll just yap a little bit because I do want to get to some of the hearings that are happening today. What do we got here? Tefel said, I just don't think we should be taxed multiple times after already withholding all of our paycheck. They can spend better and stop laundering and all. Dude, I believe you're out. I think that the federal government, I don't like paying multiple taxes. I really, really don't. You know, the county where my house is in North Carolina, I get taxed twice for 911 services. And the reason is because I have a vehicle in the county and I have a house in the county. And it's like $695 a year. It's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. So I called the county and I was like, do me a favor, riddle me this. If my car catches on fire, okay, and burns my house down, am I going to get like twice the insurance policy back? Well, no. I said, well, then why do I need to have 911 insurance or pay a 911 tax on both a vehicle that's parked at the residence? Well, that's just the way it is. And that was the answer that I got back. I got that answer back from a state representative who just didn't want to answer my freaking questions. You know, I don't like the fact that you all these taxes come out of your paycheck and then you go to the store and you get taxed on the food, you know, and then at the end of the year, you find out if you need to pay more taxes or not. And I mean, there's half of our paycheck is gone by the time we actually get to spend it. And then they wonder why people can't do anything. And then all the hidden taxes on, you know, the basically cost of living, you know, all that keeps going up. And so I'm not a fan of taxes at all, guys. I am not a libertarian. I'll tell you right now, I'm not a libertarian. Okay. What I will tell you is that I believe that taxes are necessary, but they should be something that we scrutinize so hard, okay, before we allow them to pass. I think they should have their own process that makes it so painful for the government to apply these taxes to us that it would just keep them from doing it. So, autocorrect is on a roll today. Alternative economies, just saying. Yeah. I love alternative economies. I think we should just go. I think if they're going to make money fake, they should just make money only you can only touch it. You can only make it. If they're going to give me all this paper and call it something and give it value, then I think that we should only be able to use that. And I think that keeps a lot of people from being stupid. I really do. You know, basically the reverse of what they did in Colorado with the legalization of marijuana. If you guys didn't know that little tidbit, so they legalized marijuana in the state of Colorado. It was one of the first states to go that way, right? And what literally ended up with happened was they couldn't, once they put that business, that legal business, once that legal business put that money that they had earned from the sale of marijuana, if they put that money in a bank, it's a federal crime. The feds can seize the money. They can instantly prosecute or put them under charges. So what you ended up with was these tractor trailer containers full of piles and piles and piles to the roof of money with armed guards outside of the tractor trailer or outside the storage container. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So these guys actually had to set up their own little system, their alternate economy, just so that they could actually use the money that they made from the legal process within the state. So, hey, I'm all about freaking all these alternate systems. But let me take a sip of coffee, and then we're going to get on this because I think this one is probably the most important one. If you guys didn't know it, they're coming after your guns again. Oh no, not again. Yeah, it's always amazed me that they have this ability to come up with new and extremely, because the Fed, it was all illegal, but state said it. Yes, exactly, Jordan. Let's see. the government is all, or these freaking lefties are constantly coming up with the most ingenious way to take away our firearms that won't work. So the newest law, guys, it's called the Go Safe Act. It's the Gas Operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act. The Go Safe Act is a common sense proposal, and this is printed right off of Senator Martin Heinrich, Democrat, New Mexico. So if you know this guy or know who he is, write him a letter, tell him he's fucking stupid. Excuse me, this video just got flagged. This is the Go Safe Act is a common sense proposal designed to protect communities from gun violence while safeguarding Americans' constitutional right to own a firearm for legitimate self-defense, hunting, and sporting purposes. It's going to regulates sales, transfers, and manufacture of semi-automatic firearms. The bullet points are simple. The Go Safe Act regulates firearms based on inherently dangerous and unusual lethality of their internal mechanisms, as opposed to focusing on cosmetic features that manufacturers can easily modify. So basically, it's the number one bullet. So this guy's big selling point on this bill is, hey, we went after the scary black guns, and the whole stock thing didn't work, and the barreling thing didn't work, and the military style stuff, and the big devastating bullet, all these arguments didn't work. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to go in the exact opposite direction. We're not going to go down that path anymore. We're going to be like, well, we'll talk about its lethality. That should have been the original argument, but these are two people too stupid to know this. If enacted, the bill would regulate the sale, transfer, and manufacture of gas-operated semi-automatic weapons by establishing a list of prohibited firearms, unconstitutional, preventing unlawful modifications of permissible firearms, unconstitutional. It's your property. You can modify it all you want as long as you don't break any of the other laws. Mandating that future gas operating designs are approved before manufacture. Well, wait, you just basically said that it's got to be approved before they build it? Oh, I don't think that's constitutional. Preventing unlawful firearm self-assembly and manufacturing. So ghost guns. They want to make sure that you can't make your own ghost gun. All right, so it says that it protects America's Second Amendment rights. The Go Safe Act protects Americans' constitutional right to own a gun based on a, wait a minute. Did they just say we have a constitutional right to own firearms? What just happened? What happened? What happened? Let's go on here. Constitutional right to own a gun based on a firearm's established use for self-defense, hunting, or sporting purposes. The Go Safe Act accomplishes this by including exemptions based on maximum ammunition capacity, according to a firearm's individual class, and a rifle, a shotgun, or a handgun. This capacity must be permanently fixed, meaning the firearm cannot accept a detachable, high-capacity magazine that would increase the number of rounds that can be fired before reloading and making loading easier. It's all a joke, guys. It's all a joke. Exemptions include 22 caliber rimfire or less firearms. Okay. I don't think they understand that they make 22 caliber rimfire firearms that are semi-automatic. Bolt action rifles, interesting. Semi-automatic shotguns, whoa. Recoil operated handguns, any rifle with a permanently fixed magazine of 10 rounds or less. Any shot, I don't know of any rifle that's crazy. Any shotgun with permanently fixed 10 round magazine or less. Any handgun with a permanently fixed magazine of 15 rounds or less. Anybody know a handgun that has a permanently fixed magazine of 15 rounds or less? Now, when they say magazine, they're not talking about the thing you stick in it. They're talking about the actual magazine well. Kind of like how you manually load 5 to 7 rounds into a bolt action rifle. That's what they're talking about. I don't think there's any pistols that actually do that. Please let me know in the chat if there are. Where are we at here? The Go Safe Act limits a firearm's ability to inflict maximum harm in a short amount of time by directly regulating large capacity ammunition feeding devices. So now we're back to focusing on magazines, on the size of the magazines, how many it can carry. The bill would limit the number of rounds that large capacity ammunition feeding devices are permitted to carry to 10 rounds of ammunition or fewer. Additionally, the Go Safe Act makes conversion devices, including pump stocks and Glock switches, unlawful because everybody has pump stocks and Glock switches that nobody actually owns. The Go Safe Act will force would-be mass shooters to reload their gun more frequently, giving people time to flee and law enforcement time to arrive on the scene. God, these people, it's like they don't understand like how time works. I don't think they understand the concept of time. While also maintaining law enforcement access to regulated firearms, so law enforcement continues to have the tools they need to respond to mass shootings. They think basically they can outgun somebody who only has a handful of magazines that only have 10 rounds in them. Isn't that magical? I love the last one, the last paragraph. This is my personal favorite. And you got to love it, man. Thank you, Australia, for fucking the whole world up. The Go Safe Act will prevent stockpiling of these lethal firearms and large capacity magazines, and also ensure no one loses the value of any firearms while they currently have by establishing a voluntary buyback program, which would allow firearm owners to voluntarily turn over any and receive compensation for non-transferable firearms and magazines as defined by the legislation. Oh, smell the bull. Just smell the bull, guys. It's so wafty. There's so much waft. Guys, if you know this Senator Martin Heinrich, Democrat from New Mexico, please send him as many emails and send him as much hate mail. I mean, he really does deserve it, because this is the kind of idiocy, the people of New Mexico, blue or red, this guy is just pissing all your this guy's paid to represent you. And I wonder how many people in New Mexico actually want this to happen, because I'm going to bet New Mexico, being such a Western state, such a kind of like that, I like gunslinger and hard hat, I mean, that's when I think of New Mexico. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if there's people actually think that, because I don't think they do. Let's see here. Maybe they're referring to a 6-shooter. I don't know, man. I never bought a gun from the government. How can I buy it back? There you go. People depend on the government. Nothing will change for good until people become independent of the. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's absolutely right, Window Liquor. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. And we're gonna close up the live stream on this. Here's the problem. This is all people do. This is it. I mean, we're doing it right now. But I mean, what have we actually done to stop this foolishness? How many people have written their senator about this gun, this stupid ass freaking law? I'm going to write one today. I'm going to write my senator today and say, what the fuck is going on? We are so tired of this. This is so ridiculous. This is like spam is what this is. That's what this is. This is like spam. You just keep deleting it, and it just keeps coming back. You want nothing to do with it. It's not part of the American way of life. It's not a part of American heritage. It's nothing. It's socialist drivel, all under the name of a kinder, gentler nation. I think these people, before they're allowed to do any of these things, before they're allowed to even suggest a law like this, I think they need to look up the non-gun violence numbers in the other countries where firearms have been taken away, and see where the numbers have literally just gone. Well, they literally could just replace firearm deaths with blunt force object deaths, with knife deaths, with other deaths, these categories that still exist. I think that they would very quickly see that they're full of crap. This is nothing more than a power play to make us weak so that we will give in, so that there's no way to stop these people from being stupid. You know, this is why the thought police show up in these stupid fucking countries. Oh man, I got to calm down, guys. This is why the thought police show up in these stupid, arrogant countries and tell people that they're taking them to jail because they said something bad on the internet. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, we're going to check the chat out real quick here, guys. Supreme Court ruled that they have no object to protect. Government wants to be able to. Yeah, exactly. They have no obligation to protect us. Guy pinned a store robber in Chicago. It took 22 minutes for the police to get there. Absolutely. The actual average time is 7 to 15 minutes for police to arrive once they start the process. Once you get in through 911, what's your emergency? I need police. Let me transfer you. 7 to 15 minutes for the police, depending on the locality, the availability of police officers, things like that. And then when they show up, they can still screw it up so badly. The average home invasion is over with, specifically with a firearm, or when there's time for the perpetrator to be scared off, a minute, like 1 minute. They realize that this is not going to be easy. They're gone just like that. So get strapped, guys. I'm telling you, get strapped, because if you don't, shame on you. Oh, let's see. When non-gun owners, West Virginia Pappy, that's pretty, and West Virginia Pappy, there you are. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't tell everybody on Clapper I was going to do this, but I'm going to have to do some kind of video on Clapper to let people know. When non-gun owners write a gun law, it's usually full of inaccuracies. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, guys, time to go. I want to thank you for hanging out with me for an hour this morning. Hopefully I'll have more to talk with you about tomorrow. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links below. I appreciate it if you just coffee, Patreon, buy something from Amazon. It's Christmas, guys. I should at least be making 32 cents every time you spend $100. That is the truth right there. I've got all the Amazon links. Go find my store down below. You know what I'm talking about. All right, guys, I think that's going to be about it for right now. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you, which should be tomorrow. For my Patreons, obviously, you'll see me much sooner. You guys know I pretty much hang out with you guys all day long in the Discord. Love you guys. We'll talk to you later. I'm going to start pushing some buttons. I don't know what's going to get shut off or how it's all going to go, but that's going to be it. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.